As the traditional vaccines that have been administered to generations of Barbadians. I say to our Minister of Health and our Chief Medical Officer, you are lying to the people. You are lying to the people when you declare these experimental vaccines to be safe and effective. How can you declare them as such when you know that they have not endured the proper clinical trials to prove them as such? These so-called vaccines are new, unapproved and investigational, approved for emergency use only. Let us remind our Prime Minister, Mia Mottley, that on the 5th of January 1973, our government signed on to the United Nations Treaty, the International Covenant on Civil Rights and Political Rights. The covenant commits its parties to respect the civil and political rights of individuals, including the right to life, freedom of religion, freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, electoral rights, and rights to due process and a fair trial. In Article 4 of this treaty it reads, "The rights can only be limited in a time of public emergency which threatens the life of the nation, and even then no derogation is permitted from the right to life, freedom from torture and slavery, the freedom from retrospective law, the right to personhood, and freedom of thought, conscience, religion," and listen to this part, "and the freedom from medical or scientific treatment without consent." To mandate these experimental COVID vaccines would be a gross and egregious violation of this United Nations Human Rights Treaty, of which we are a signatory of. We say to the Barbados Hotel and Tourism Association, we are not your slaves. How dare you think that your desire for increased business activity and your power to lobby government supersedes the health and human rights of the Barbadian people. We say to you, we will not tolerate your disregard and disrespect of our unalienable human right to choose what we put into our bodies. We are making a public record of all of the hotels, restaurants, supermarkets that have had the audacity to send threatening letters to their employees. We are serving you notice. We intend to organize ourselves and the people of Barbados into a solid wall. And we intend to boycott the businesses of persons who have subjected their employees employees to such immoral and unethical treatment. We demand that you cease immediately from using illegal and unethical coercive tactics to encourage, incentivize and compel COVID vaccination. We demand you cease immediately with the threats of discrimination, unemployment, seclusion and destitution. Finally, we call on the government of Barbados and the governments of CARICOM to demonstrate worthiness of the trust placed in them by being mindful of their responsibility to ensure the sanctity of the human rights and safety of the populations that they govern. We strongly urge Prime Minister Motley to refuse from administering any experimental medication to our children. In addition, we call on the government of Barbados for transparency in making all information public regarding any deaths, injuries, anaphylactic reactions that have happened in Barbados as a result of taking the COVID vaccine. Our Minister of Health has a duty and a responsibility to inform the public of this important information so that the public can make an informed choice. And please, respect our right of choice. We are no longer colonial subjects and slaves.